Time now for the Welcome Mat, brought to you by Northlands Golf Course.
Let's get into it. I don't know if it was malicious. Probably not. But I do know it was another WTF moment. My question to ownership would be, was it worth it? And the architect, and I use that term loosely, given there wasn't much architecture, more finger painting with this team. It's like the running of the Bulls in Pamplona. You know someone is going to get hurt.
That's what you all need to understand here, right now.
Rob Simpson of Vancouver Hockey Now spoke with Bruce Boudreau yesterday, and as his lead says, the coach hopes to confirm a return to the Canucks next week. Boudreau told Simpson that there are some minor details to work out, that this isn't about leverage. One wonders if those details have to do with his staff. Simpson reports those details aren't salary or term. We know the Canucks aren't budging on those pillars. One also wonders if there's enough wiggle room in Boudreau's words that if the right offer came around in the next 10 days, he might bolt. Now, those chances appear slim, especially with Barry Trotz now the top coaching free agent. My question here, is this a healthy environment between coach and management? They're communicating publicly through media outlets. Management has signaled that he isn't their cup of tea when it comes to style and structure. The coach has taken his sweet time in confirming a return. The possibility of Boudreau getting fired next season is as likely, maybe more, than an extension. Oh, and it may well be that he's handed an even worse roster if Jim Rutherford and Patrik Allvin believe a step back is needed to ultimately build a contending club. Add it all up, and I'd be awfully surprised if Boudreau is the coach of the Canucks at this time next year. That's Welcome Mat for today. We invite your feedback. The feedback channels as follows: on email, live at sekeresandprice.com. You can text 778-402-9680 to the Great Clips inbox. Great Clips, the official hair salon of the NHL. On Twitter, I'm at Sekeres, at Sekeres and Price. And the Welcome Mat, a presentation of Northlands Golf Course, Metro Vancouver's premier public course, celebrating 25 years of incredible golf up on the North Shore. Blake, myself, Kurt, Andrew Wadden, we all played around there yesterday and deposited more of those S&P Sekeres and Price logoed golf balls across the course.
Unfortunately, unintentionally.
Some unintentional, some intentional. A reminder, if you find one of these golf balls on course, return it to the pro shop. You'll get a gift from us and a gift from Northlands as well. You can book 90 days in advance, and they have an app where you can maybe get a late call to play with their Tee Time Standby feature. Check it all out, golfnorthlands.com. You're giving me an evil look.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
not at all. I'm just, you made me think about my round yesterday.
Oh, okay. That explains it. That explains
and
it.
that ended up with a bipsic.
Yeah, so answer me the question. Is this a healthy relationship? Like, do you...
I think it's
BIPSIC, everybody. Ball in pocket, sitting in cart.
Yes.
It's an acronym.
I'm not prepared to pull that fire alarm just yet. Not enough clues. I think this is. This
is not conventional, though, Blake. This is not.
No, but
this is somewhat irregular.
You know what's the most irregular thing? You know what got this whole thing started?
Francesco hiring the coach?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But this is still avoided if one thing is not in there. I can't remember the last case I heard of this. Option year for a coach. Like, we don't hear about option years in the NHL.
No.
It's not an option year league.
No.
For the players. It's not in their CBA.
No.
So
it is in baseball. Baseball,
right.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. But we're not used to that and the dynamics of that. This, because coaches aren't a part of the CBA, they can construct it however they want. And it's just, we're not used to it. And without that, if it was just a 2-year deal for Boudreau, I don't know that we're dealing with this.
It's almost like the owner shouldn't have structured the contract on his own and left that to the new hockey chief that he hired days later.
Yeah, like
because I don't think Rutherford paints himself into this corner. I wouldn't think
that would be an interesting truth serum answer here. Because as much as I do believe Rutherford effectively was in on this hire, did he get down to the details of the actual contract? Like, how much of a role did he play in how the contract was structured? That would be interesting to know, because he might have walked into the office going, what's this, an option year? Okay, interesting.
I would have to think it's more extensive than that.
I don't know. But
option year to me sounds very Aquilini, because it sounds like, we can get off the financial obligation if need be.
Yeah. Yeah, potentially.
Or at least there's a route to getting off the financial obligation if it doesn't work out.
Because if it's a 1-year deal, just a full interim contract, guess what? They have to sit down at a table and drill down on something, and the story's over, one way or the other.
Right.
If it's a 2-year deal, yeah, we can talk extension later on in the summer, but it's less of a circus.
So you're quibbling, or you're at least pointing out that option year brings some results, some consequences that aren't exactly
it made this a bigger soap opera than it would otherwise have been.
And yet you don't seem to see that logic with lame duck year anymore. You're now totally okay with coaches going into lame duck year,
because
if I'm reading you correctly over the last month.
Well, right, and that's what I'm saying is if this was just a 2-year deal, like a 1.5-year deal, whatever, sure, the debate of should they extend him is still there, but he's coming back. Like, he's coming back regardless. No soap opera here. He's coming back to coach. So we avoid all that if it's just a regular 2-year deal. He's going into his last year.
And I continue to disagree here, because there was soap opera with Travis Green in the lame duck year. There just was. He was asked about it countless times over the course of the year.
There was, and I remember
and
this.
I don't think it really,
Matt, I remember
it didn't
this
benefit
so
the
vividly.
hockey club.
I remember this so vividly. I was reading from the same hymn book as I am now. It wasn't until the final 2 months of the year where I said,
"Well, 2 months,
right." But that's what I've said about Bruce Boudreau. If he's doing his job up until December, I said even you extend him. But I said even it didn't come up for me until March of last year. Me saying, okay, like, just decide one way or the other. The team is in the pooper.
Yeah.
He's either your guy through thick and thin, or just come out and say something.
And I guess I would look at it and say that's 2 months of unnecessary chatter. That's 2 months of unnecessary distraction. That's 2 months.
But that was a team that was in last place already.
Unnecessary neutering or emasculating of your leader.
But they were in last place. They were swirling around the drain. Yeah. That seemed, if he's doing his job this year, there's no I mean, the Canucks will
his job this year could be with a lesser roster that's not even as close to the playoff bar as the Canucks wound up being in the second.
Right. Well, then it'll be in the eye of the beholder. Was he a part of the losing, or do they analyze it more critically?
I have trouble seeing an extension, because if you hope to extend him, why not now? Rutherford's answer at the press conference was just far too threadbare for me. Well, we didn't have a full season under him. Well, okay, it was 57 games. He's coached over 1,000. So I don't know. I just get the sense he's not their guy, and it's going to be interesting, because I do not think there is another team in the NHL that is prepared to shotgun hire Bruce Boudreau quickly here. And so what that means is I think all parties are getting back together, knowing full well that he's not really their guy, that he may have wanted to be somewhere else, or is certainly looking elsewhere. I mean, he tells Simpson the Leafs job remains a dream. He says, right now I'm committed to Vancouver, but the Leafs job remains a dream. And that's also irregular. Getting head coaches to talk about coaching other teams and other jobs. Here's where we are.
Here's why I don't think there's anything weird about this. Here's why I don't think it'll affect Boudreau's ability to execute on the bench next season. Quote, I have as special a relationship with these players in Vancouver as I did with the guys in Washington on my first NHL job.
Yeah, but you don't just deal with players in a coaching role. You deal with the people above you, the managers, the owners, the staff. So,
but I mean, it's sporadic, and that's not the thrust of your job. The thrust of your job is coaching hockey.
That's fair,
and he feels connected to that.
It's a more comprehensive role than that, and I do think it's going to be at the very least, awkward next year.